Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me again. This is Dr. Stephen Walker coming at you live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We are going to talk tonight about how to be happier. We're going to have a guest joining us in a few minutes. He's a frequent viewer, participant in our show, and he's been going through some challenging times. So we're just going to chat with him a little bit, see if his story can connect with anybody else, and see if anybody can offer him some support while we're doing that. So I just want to let everybody know that we are going to be talking tonight about how to be happier. So one of the things about being happy is that we have this belief that being happy is something that we can sustain. So we have this idea that people believe that we as a human being, as a society, the goal is to just be happy all the time. In fact, I had a gentleman on my YouTube page post something where I just want to read it to you. I'm not going to identify with him, but he said, "Love yourself a little bit more, accept nothing but positive thoughts about yourself, and the big step is being able to love yourself." So, hey, Candace, how are you? Thanks for joining. So, I responded to his post, and I appreciated his post, but I don't believe the way to being happy is to accept only positive thoughts about yourself, because in reality, that's an unrealistic goal, to only accept positive, happy thoughts about yourself. In reality, most of us, hey, Angel, how are you? Thanks for joining. I haven't seen you here before, but most of us, including myself, we have waves of happiness. We have waves of sadness. So the goal should never be, in my opinion, as you know, I've been doing this for 20 years as a licensed mental health practitioner. The goal should never be to be happy, because happiness is an unsustainable state of mind. Allowing yourself to only focus on positive thoughts means that you are denying negative thoughts. You're denying that you have unhappiness. You're denying issues that you may particularly have been struggling with. So while I'm saying you don't want to wallow or dwell only on the negative, but one of the keys to being happiness is accepting the duality, the dual nature of our consciousness. You know, the idea that we can only be happy means that we can never allow ourselves to be unhappy. Hey, Angie, I got your message right before the show. I'll try to read it and address it as we go. Hey, Kat, how are you? Thanks for joining in. Please share this again. Remember, the reason I'm doing this is to help spread the word about mental health. We all have a degree of mental illness. We all have a degree of physical illness. We need to work on that. We need to get out of the shadows and start saying that I have these issues and I need to work on them. Happiness is something that we need to look at what is preventing us from being happy. So there's a behavioral model, cognitive behavioral model that says that works on that has the ABCs of thinking. Excuse me. The ABCs of thinking basically say activating event, belief, consequence. Something activates us. We believe something about that activating event, and those beliefs have consequences in the form of feelings. So happiness, if happiness is your goal, always be happy, then you're believing something about being unhappy. Hey, Kat saying, I'm okay, still struggling, but getting there. Great, Kat. Absolutely. You know, and Kat was very honest about some of her struggles, and we exchanged some messages here and there. So I think what I would encourage Kat to do is Kat needs to keep doing that work that caused her psyche to fragment out and to start working from a model of being against each other. Now, you know, Kat and I have talked. We've on here, and we've exchanged some messages. Kat's getting the support she needs. Kat's getting the work that she needs to do. But I would encourage Kat, like anybody working, watching these broadcasts, is you got to focus on how you're treating yourself. You got to focus on how you're relating to yourself. The amount of hate we are conditioned to put upon our mental illness or our mental health, so to speak, is staggering. We're so conditioned to hate pain. I'm going to bring on my guest in a little while. His name is Rasmus. He's got some issues that are affecting him. He's bravely coming on tonight to talk about that with me and to get some feedback from people watching. because this is what this show is about. This is not about me just talking for 30 minutes, hoping that I can, get tons of likes and quit my job. And, this is about engaging with people who are struggling with with their degree of mental illness or mental health. This is what it's about. Rasmus and I have talked a couple times. We text a lot, and he's going through some things that he wants to just talk about openly, because there's nothing to be ashamed of. If I was a dentist, if I was a cardiologist and he had a heart condition or something was affecting him, he wouldn't be ashamed of coming on and saying, yeah, dude, I got tachycardia. My heart's always, what should I do about that? Why is there a stigma when you're down, when you're in pain, mental or emotional pain? Why is there a stigma about working on that? There shouldn't be. It's ridiculous, because we have good people. Rasmus is one of them, who went through a lot of things as a child that now he's internalized as his relationship with himself. So I'm going to bring him on in a second, but I just want to emphasize that if you want to be happier, okay, you have to accept that there are going to be times when you're not happy. You've got to look at happiness as a wave. What we don't want are spikes up and down. We don't want kind of polarized feeling, thoughts, and emotions. We don't want a spike. We want waves. And that's what happiness is about. And I can get into it deeper, but I want to bring on Rasmus because he's in a completely different part of the world. So he's gotten up really early to share his story with us. But happiness is not something that you can expect to sustain, especially if you've been through some degree of emotional or psychological trauma, which most of us have. Now, I'm assuming that there are people out there who had perfect parents, no money issues, no negative events. They were never bullied. They were never teased. They were popular, blah, 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 blah. I'm assuming that there's some people out there like that, but I'm guessing they're, the bell curve, guys. This is where most of us are. The outliers are out here. So Samantha's saying, so glad to hear from Rasmus. Exactly, because, people come on the show and they talk, and we're forming a community of people who are okay with talking about what's going on. So my advice, when somebody works with me, I always say, look, I cannot guarantee that our work is going to make you happy, because happiness is a very subjective thing, okay? I started losing my hair in my 20s. I was really unhappy about that until I worked on that. Other people are okay with not losing their hair. It's a very subjective thing. People go through trauma. People go through things in their life that affects their ability to be happy. So I can't guarantee happiness, but what I can, I don't want to say guarantee, but what I can encourage along as people start healing is more peace of mind, is more allowing both parts of themselves to coexist without any of this. So how to be happier is to accept that it's okay that I have things that make me unhappy, that there are things that I don't like about my life or myself or my past, and I have to work on them. And yes, I do advocate everybody working on their issues. Everyonehasissues.com is one of my websites, because everyone has issues. Okay, so I'll get back into, a little bit more about happiness, but I want to bring on Rasmus because he was kind enough to wake up at the crack of dawn to come on and share his story, so that people an idea of what one human being in one part of the world is struggling with. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. Hey, Rasmus, you there?
Hello. Hello.
Oh,
yeah, I am here. Can you hear me?
Very professional to forget my headphones, but hey, this is live, so what can I say? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. I hope everyone can hear him too. So Rasmus, how you doing? I know it's really early. I appreciate you joining us. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're going through? I'm going to try out some different screens here because I just created my program here. I'm going to see, no, I like this one. So, okay. So why don't you talk a little bit about, what you're going through? You had posted feeling pretty hopeless and down about some things. So why don't you give us an idea of what's going on in your life, and you and I will chat as though you and I are the only ones here, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Well, As you said, first of all, I have to say you already mentioned it, but it's 6 a.m. So if I'm kind of sleepy, that's why.
Rasmus is on the other part of the world, people. He's
Yeah.
joined us. He's
So
brave enough to come on and talk about what's going on. So thank you,
yeah.
Rasmus.
About how I'm feeling. Well, there are like I'm studying at the university, and I want to be studying hard for my classes, everything, but I'm not able to push myself to study, and I'm feeling pretty hopeless and quite. Most likely, it's because of the depression that I have, severe depression. Like I want to pick a book, for example, this book about the computer science, and instead of read, like I'm trying to read the book, but inside my head I am thinking about other things, mostly feeling so hopeless that I feel that why I'm still here, like in middle of like reading a book, feeling like suicidal.
And Rasmus, you can see some of the, I think you can see some of the comments as they pop up. So Juan is saying, "What's up, Rasmus?" Thanks, Juan.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. So Rasmus, so that's the cycle that happens, right? Because when you're already feeling down or depressed or hopeless, it's kind of like a circle. So then you can't do things that you want to do. So then that feeds the cycle of hopelessness and depression, and then it just gets deeper and deeper, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that, man. And Samantha saying you're not alone on that. So let's talk a little bit about what are some of the things that get you down. And Rasmus has asked he's not going to get into like specifics of where he is in the world and things like that. But I want to talk a little bit about, so you and I had a Skype session and we talked a little bit about the way you were raised. So do you want to give us a little background on how that has affected, how it still affects you? Because what I want people to understand as they watch these either live or when they're posted is everybody's past is still affecting them, people. Everybody's past. Your conditioning, the way you were raised is still affecting you. And people don't like to admit that. Hey, Ali, how are you? Thanks for coming back. So why don't you give us a little bit of background on, some of the depression, where it started,
Yeah. Well, a lot of times it has been that I wasn't very conventional, and I wasn't following the norm. I wasn't normal, so I was like kind of made feel bad and kind of bullied because of being different or thinking differently. And then I learned that's the only way. Okay, if I can't be myself, being myself is a trouble, which should be a gift to be our individual selves, but it was a trouble for me. And then I learned that maybe I have to be the best or perfect to get the attention and love and everything. And then I, in the beginning, like when I was a very little child, being different or thinking differently was just a source of trouble. But sure. when I was turned 16, I got to a position that because of the thinking differently, I could be killed, my life was totally in danger.
So when you say you were thinking differently, you were thinking differently than the culture you were in, or you were just thinking differently as like, what do you mean by that?
Well, a lot of things. For example, I remember, even I was bullied for basic things. Like for example, I pick my interests. I don't follow what is popular. So, for example, I remember one time in one class there were 40 of us, 40 students. Almost all of them hated chemistry. I loved chemistry.
Oh man!
And because of that, I was being bullied all the time. I was bullied.
And when you were bullied, you were physically bullied, or you were teased, or both, or?
Physically not so much, but teased a lot. Like this is the like the pointing finger. Oh, this is the guy who loves chemistry. And look what's wrong with him, or or things like that.
Yeah, I would just just a pause. If anybody's watching this live and you have children, or watching it after I post it, please check in with them and find out if they're bullying other kids or if they're being bullied. And if you find out that they're being bullied, you need to work. You need to help them with that. So I'm sorry. Keep going, Rasmus.
Yeah. So it was like that. It was like that for a lot of things. One of the a lot of things that are conventional. For example. There are things that never made sense to me. For example, like even as a child, certain things that seem very normal, like feeling like I felt an outcast. Like for example, if people usually tend to think this is a normal way of thinking, but like I didn't buy into that, feeling that okay, because like for example, if I say I am from this city, for some reason people thought that if someone else is from that city, I feel more connected to that person compared to other people. But for me, always it has been strange. Like I say, okay, whether this person is from the same city or from other city, why should it be different? Like for example, you are not from the city I used to live in. Why should I feel less connected with you than the other person? And this was so weird to most people. Like,
wow. So you were more like a globalist almost. You were like, it doesn't matter what city you're from. I'm just gonna accept you as a human being. And other people are looking at you like, no, he's not from here, so we're not supposed to like them.
Yeah, or supposed to feel less connected. I said, what's the reason? Like, okay,
right. And that was probably
especially
a
when
threat.
we think we don't choose where we are born or raised.
Right.
So that's even when there is no choice. Why should I feel more connected or less connected with someone?
Exactly. And here you are feeling ostracized and alienated. So how long did that go on when you were young? Like we're
It
talking
has
about
been
like
always like
5,
that.
10 years, 50.
It has been always like that,
Wow.
as far as I can't remember. And
Mm.
then it was because of a belief. Okay, I mentioned it, a religious belief. I didn't buy into that, and then my life was in danger. If I spoke, my mom said that I don't believe in religion to do my last day on the planet.
I hear you. I hear you.
So that's when I started to think, okay, being me is not only a trouble, it's a danger. So now, at the same time, I hate being like living a lie and being fake. So what my strategy began to be was to avoid interactions, so I don't have to be fake, because I didn't want to. Like, authenticity and honesty is one of the top values for me, so I didn't want to be a fake and liar. So, but in my head I thought, what can I do then limit interaction as much as possible, isolate yourself, don't talk to anyone, so you don't have to be fake. So it's
And so
like,
here you are now as an adult, isolating yourself, feeling like a fake, feeling like you can't connect with people, all because of that trauma of being bullied and teased and ostracized.
yeah, well, I immigrated, and still the same things happen here. In here, it's not that I am my life will be under danger or anything. But now again, the same way that it was when I was a child. Why should I feel like more connected to someone from the same city why less to someone who is not from the same city. Now,
Sure.
now they are expecting me to represent or feel connected to the culture that's never felt part of me. Even so, I lived there. I was exposed to it. It has never felt a part of me. And then what happened is so I feel
But let
that
me just back up for 1 second. So when all of this was happening to you, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but when all of this was happening as a child, were you able to then go home, talk to your parents about it, and they were able to support you, or what was your home situation like? And again, Rasmus, if there's anything I'm asking that you're not comfortable talking about, you can always just say, I don't want to talk about that. So.
Well, about my home situation, well,
When you were younger,
as far as I can remember, a lot of times my father wasn't even that much at home. Very busy with work, always going to business trips, etc. So I didn't have much interaction with my father, to be honest. And with my mother, I had interactions and we were close, but I think he couldn't really help me. What can I do about the situation, etc. I feel that maybe he wasn't like me, the type to like. It was basically following the norm most of the time, confirming to the norm. So I don't think he knew that quite. That's how I can deal with that situation. So he
Did he
didn't.
try?
Yeah.
Did he try to connect with you? Did he? Because we talked a little bit in our Skype session about some of the pressure he put on you.
My mother tried, but her I think her attempts were not helping. Like he was trying to be too kind and kind of like spoil me, etc. But spoiling, well, if one person spoils me but then 10 people are trying to drag me down, it's not gonna work. So it didn't work. Of course, sometimes also he did what my father did, which was really bad. Feels really bad and still feels really bad. That sometimes, usually when my father did it, kind of my mother also followed it. That they compare sometimes because I was different. I was different. I was not thinking the same way. Sometimes they said, "Oh, why can't you be like your cousin? Or why can't you be? Everybody has a son, but why can't you be like them? Why do you have to be so different?" Or
so you got compared to people a lot. You were always told kind of like, why can't you be like your cousin, and they have their act together. Why can't you have your act together?
Yeah. For example,
do you still do that? I'm sorry. Go ahead. For example.
For example, I was 14, 13, 14. I already wanted to leave Iran and find a country for myself. And they were saying, "Oh, why can't you be happy here? Everybody is happy." But all our brothers and sisters have sons and children. Why can't you be like them? Be happy. Be happy here. So,
and why couldn't you be happy? We're getting a lot of good comments, so I hope you can see people are relating to your story. But why couldn't you be happy back then, Rasmus?
Yeah. Well,
I'm not saying you should have been. I'm just asking you, why couldn't you?
Well, one of the most important reason, like I said, that I felt I couldn't be myself. The conformity, the individualism wasn't so much the case. It was all about like the community and following the community, and then also from the point that my life like that point that my life was in danger, I was really so unhappy that every from that point every day I can say um, well, one year or 2 years, I didn't know when I left the country. I thought everything would be over soon. So I had so much hope. I was very optimistic, and then in that time I wasn't feeling suicidal. But from that point till now, minus 2 years, I think all the time it has been like that. That I feeling like I can't be me. I have to live a lie, and I refuse to live a lie. So better not to live a lie than
Sure.
to
And
live a lie.
and we're getting some great comments here. So Fernando is saying, hey Fernando, good to see you again. Hi Rasmus, you must have found it difficult to find an identity as a child, having to be compared to others. Yeah, definitely. Samantha saying I went through that as well. Very cultural issues that I did not have to deal with. I'm going to keep my prayers going for you. Thank you. Angie saying very reliable experiences. Juan is saying, nah, that's deep. In America, we have too much pride and media censors to feel stuff about other countries. Exactly. You know, rah, 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 America's number one. I hear you. Kat is saying, yep, they're not from our tribe. You can't have them connect with them. Marriage is totally forbidden outside of the tribe mind state. Exactly. Juan is saying my parents taught me to never be in the crowd and stick. So we're getting some really good comments here. So Rasmus, let's get into the now. So when the suicidal feelings, when you feel like there's no hope, when you feel like when you collapse into that hole of hopelessness, as I call it, what's that like for you? What give us a sense of that feeling within you?
Yeah, well, about the situation where I honestly because I don't want to live a lie, etc. I want to regarding the citizenship, etc. I wanted to cut ties with the country, but then I got to know that I can't cut ties. They won't let it happen, and I can't do anything about it if they don't let it happen. So I feel hopeless regarding that. And then I try to find the countries that are that have accept and recognize dual citizenship, and then in those countries, most of them have very high requirements for citizenship and everything. And so for that, I feel that I have to really work hard to be considered in their eyes good enough, or to become a citizen, etc. But I can't push myself. I can't do it. Like I have a book here, for example, calculus. It's sitting here for weeks, and still I haven't managed to even open it and read it. And I know that if I open it and read it, I don't know. I don't know. It's a I don't know. There are two sides to it. Part of me feels that if I open it and read it, I can like totally master it and everything. But my actions don't show that. My actions make me like, if someone looks from outside, he or she most likely would think that I feel so incompetent that I don't dare to even open it, because I feel that I can manage it. So
because if you
I
can't
don't
deal with it, that's going to just feed into more of that perfectionism and there's something wrong with me. And
Then it's really hard that I want to do well. I care about it. I think about it a lot, but doesn't show in action. And
Mm.
and like I wrote to you, I wrote to you on Skype. The thing is that 8 years after I graduated from high school, I wanted to leave the country since I was 13 or something. But at 18, when I got like graduated finally from high school, and I wanted to leave the country because that was the right time, not 13, 14 years old. But, that was the right time, but I couldn't push myself to do it because I was scared. Can I manage living alone? Can I do this? Can I do that? All the worries, I will not be able to manage it. And also because I have never lived alone till that time when I left finally, which was 8 years ago. And 8 years almost from 18 to 26. I was stuck. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. And then I remember what happened. That I wrote to you also that what happened in 26. When I was 26, I said education is very important. Well, first, before that, I have to say this. I had horrible panic attacks at that time because my body was trying to save me. So in order to isolate body of trying to force me to isolate myself, don't talk to anybody, etc. Every time I wanted to go outside my home, there were huge panic attacks. Like I couldn't even go. Like let's say a postman comes and rings the door, and I can't even go to the front door to open and get the letter. I was that panic attack. And it was kind of my way of body trying to save me from the possibility that I would open my mouth, say I don't believe, and then someone report me to police, and police catch me, and it will be ended.
And the panic isn't like unreal. It wasn't like you were worried that a meteor was going to hit the planet. You had panic associated with a very real threat.
Yeah, it was very real. And then that's what exactly stopped me till like 26. I decided, well, education is important to me, so I want to go to university. And then I went to university, and then in university even they wanted so much religion, etc. in their so no matter what the person wanted to study for bachelor degree, 4 years study is, and out of those 4 years, 1 year of it was about general studies, like religious studies, like
that you had to take, right?
Yeah, and then there was a course called like ethics, the religious ethics, and then in that class, the instructor was saying things that don't make any sense to me at all, and I was getting angry, but I couldn't show it to because it would be dangerous to show it. So I couldn't show it, and I had to take the class. And I think it was in the third class that I got so angry, but I didn't show it. What happened was that back then I was very fat, and my blood pressure skyrocketed, and I had to call an ambulance to go to ER, and they with injection, etc. They stabilized me. And after that I said, okay, no matter what is the worst that can happen, I am afraid that I am gonna leave. If I am gonna leave and live like in another country alone, what's the worst can happen? I said, I'm gonna die. The worst can happen is I am gonna die.
I'm already feeling dead inside. I
am almost already died now. They saved me with injections from that high blood pressure. I don't know what was it, like 210 or
Wow, you're lucky you
something.
didn't have a stroke, man.
Yeah, so I was yeah so I said I am almost there, almost died, so
Sure.
what am I afraid of? And that's the time I
Mm-hmm.
moved. So the thing is about why I said about this. For 8 years I couldn't move, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, every day that passed and I couldn't move, I felt hopeless that can I ever move, or the only way out would be suicide
Mm-hmm.
for me. So I had no hope. But that trauma that I ended up in ER, and they saved me with oxygen mask, etc., which wants to bring tears to my eyes, because I had to go through that. But anyway,
What are you
that
feeling right
that
there? What were you? What tears are you feeling right there? What's?
because I'm feeling why like 26 I was almost died with
Mm,
blood pressure, etc. It's I feel like what did I do to deserve that, or
exactly.
what did I do to
Nothing.
deserve that?
You didn't
uh,
deserve any of this. You didn't deserve to be
yeah.
treated this way at home. You didn't deserve to be treated this way in the world. And what you and I were focusing a little bit on is how Rasmus is treating Rasmus. You know,
Mm,
you said an interesting thing a little while ago. You said, I can't, there's no point of living if I have to live a lie. So
yeah.
you feel as of today, and we're getting great comments again. Candace, I'm gonna go back to the living a lie. Candace is saying, I'm scared of opening mail because it will always have bad news and bills that I can't pay and should have made. But I realized the scariest part of it all was actually opening the mail, and I was able to tackle the problems after that. But I was paralyzed by opening it. Samantha saying I have severe PTSD. Fernando is saying, great comment here. I see a guy who loves learning, but people who don't adapt to his way of learning. Samantha saying, I agree. None of us have. Great. So let's talk about now. So what lie do you feel you're living now that would cause you to need to end your life? Like what?
Well, the thing, yeah. Well, the thing is that still I have been using the same strategy like I used before, and the strategy of isolating myself in order to avoid living a lie. And so as I am not interacting with a lot of people, as I am not interacting with a lot of people, I don't have the situations, many situations where I have to lie or pretend, etc. But
And we talked
I
about that last night. Remember, we were texting a little bit about the that you feel that when you're happy that that's a lie. You know, that you feel that it's
no,
a mask, that the real Rasmus is unhappy and wants to die, but the happy part of you is just a mask. And I was trying to
no,
make.
no. It's
I
not
didn't get
that
that right.
it's a mask. I didn't say that it's a mask.
Okay,
I said it depends. I don't say it's a mask. I can never be happy, or etc.
good.
The thing is that especially about, for example, in that class that where I ultimately like got so angry that ended up in hospital. I was, even so inside I was so angry. I was like,
Hmm.
what is this guy saying? But
Why do I
on
have to
my
listen to
face
this?
on my face on my face I was smiling.
Hmm.
Yeah, so this is not real. I'm not
Hmm.
saying I can never feel happy. This is not real. If I'm feeling
Gotcha.
angry
That was
inside,
a survival
then
mechanism. Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah,
so
I
so
feel
so a
you.
lot of
Okay.
times, even now, when I a lot of times when I feel angry, instead of showing with a frown, what are you saying? Like this, again, I'm
Hmm.
smiling. What's the
And
smile
why do you
for?
feel that you
That's
have to
fake.
smile when you're angry?
Mhm. Well, I feel that uh, There are several parts to it. I think one is that it's a conditioning that I had to pretend to times like that class, that I have to pretend that I am okay with what is being done or said. And another part is that I feel that like. How to I want to think how to put it. Well, I say it as it comes to my mind, that I feel I will be like a bomb exploding if I let it out, because it's like, yeah, especially there are things that like a salt to my wound. For example, like I said before, that I didn't feel a special connection with the country, people, etc. But after, at 16 years old, my life was in danger. After that, it became disrespectful. I'm gonna say it as I think and feel. It became disrespectful to me to try to connect me, because before it was just matter of not feeling connected. But after that happened, someone doing that to me, like almost threatening me, like threatening to kill me.
Sure.
Then if someone want to connect me to that, I will find that's absolutely rude. It would be like calling a person who is trying to murder someone his or her boyfriend or family or
Right.
whatever. Why would you say that? That's
Right,
disrespectful.
right.
Don't say. But people don't think about that. And of course, another thing is that, of course, people don't know that what people automatically think birth country is the person's country, identity, everything. So they go by that. They don't.
They just put you in that pigeonhole, kind of.
Yeah, and then I don't know how to explain myself, because there are two things to explaining. Like one part is that. How can I explain without getting angry? Because it's salt to wound, as I said. And the second thing is that I have tried explaining before. People don't seem to realize it. So then part of me says, you're gonna get disappointed, and so don't even bother.
And that's one of the things, I would encourage, if you and I are going to work together, or if you find someone locally, is to work on that fear of disappointment. So I just want to get to some comments here. Kat is saying you need to remember you're not there anymore. You're in a different country. You don't have to worry about being judged as much. Fernando saying, Rasmus, I encourage you to find someone who can show you who you can show your vulnerability to. There are kind people who want to help. I love to see people that are frustrated and angry, because that says they care about their situation. Let's be real. Samantha saying, do you have any local support or family? Candace is saying, do you have a group of online friends that you can be yourself with? I get the feeling that you are afraid of being judged by people in person. Maybe online friends that you can connect with will give you confidence to venture out eventually and give you more confidence in yourself. So Rasmus, do you have any supports there? Do you have anybody that you can talk to and work through some of this?
Well, I used to have I used to go to a psychologist in the university, but I stopped it because unfortunately that psychologist turned out to be like, it's not the first one, of course. It's the turned out to be the same. It seemed that she couldn't realize what I'm saying, and I had to repeat myself many times, and still it seems like she hasn't heard anything.
Gotcha.
So I felt to be honest, I say it bluntly, it felt like I was talking to a brick wall, and
Well, I hear you.
so
I
I
hear you.
stopped it.
But what
So
I would say to that, Rasmus, is, you can't give up, and I'll do what I can from my end. But Diego's making a very good point here. He's saying, "Hey, brother, one thing I ask myself is, what is the pain I feel, and what I can do about it?" So that's a good question. At this point in your development, you feel that there's nothing that can be done about your pain, that you're doomed to feel this way the rest of your life?
well, about the taking action part is the only part that I feel I am hoping that I can change that. For 8 years, I have been feeling that I could never get out of the country, and maybe suicide is the only way to get out. But I could. But why did I have to have that trauma that's ending up in ER to do that? Why couldn't I do before that? So I'm
Oh, I see. So I got you.
what I'm hoping is that I can mm, do like solve this problem with taking action or inaction right now. This is what I'm hopeful about. But other things, there are a lot of things that I have no idea if there will be ever a solution. I mean, I could work it out or not. But as long as I can do this part, the take action part, because this is what I can control the most, then we will see. But if I can't even do my part, then it's hopeless. But about the other parts, like whether I can get the citizenship or whether I will ever find a person who will get me, do I have to isolate for the rest of my life? Those are totally out of my hand. I can
Well,
control the governments,
to a degree,
and
because I would say that
I
that
can
one you said
control
about
people.
whether, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that one you said about whether I'll find somebody, that is in your control, because I'm assuming that your self-worth, the way you value yourself, you probably think, who's going to love me? Who's going to want to be with me?
It's not that who is gonna love me, but rather who is gonna understand. Who's gonna understand that what I
But why do
say.
you think? Why do you think that nobody will understand you? What I'm trying, I guess, in our first talk, what I'm trying to show you is that your belief that nobody is going to understand you is coming out of the trauma you went through as a kid, where you felt nobody understood
No,
you.
no, it's
No?
not just that. So it have been times like I remember. I remember I had like a friend in. I'm trying to think for how long. Maybe 4 years.
Mhm.
4 years, and then after 4 years, I was totally sure that he or she is
Mm.
understanding, etc. But then
Mm.
several times said something that showed me
They're not who
I
you
saw.
think. They don't care. They don't feel about you the way you thought they felt about you.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
for
Painful, bro.
example,
That's painful.
one of the things they said, after 4 years, I thought the person definitely knows after such a long time, but then they said, oh, so the one time, so yeah, so they think I am. I told already right from beginning that I've never felt any connection, and then how I was mistreated, and
Hmm.
then for some reason this person thought that I can miss that. Do I miss that? It's like asking someone, so do you miss your bully? Huh? What are
Hmm.
you saying? What's the kind of question is that?
So what
So
did when he said, do you miss that? That kind of was an indicator that he doesn't understand. Like, why the hell would I miss that? It's almost like you asking me that question means you don't even know who I am.
Yeah, it felt like, okay. I thought I've been very clear, like right from beginning, that because of no connection on its own, it's almost impossible to feel like miss it, like if some stranger, like missing some stranger. Okay, why would I miss a stranger? Because there is no connection. And then in addition to that, when there was no connection, and in addition to that, after that mistreatment, putting my life in danger, even if there was a connection, after such a behavior, I will cut that person out. What? You want to kill me? What? Why would I need that kind of person in my life? And okay, that's a country, but not a person. But still, if someone does something like that, like threatening me, I'm never gonna miss him. So that question was like,
but I hear you, man.
what?
But and you know, we're not gonna solve everything, and you and I are gonna try to get on some calls more. But all I would encourage you to do, Rasmus, is begin to try to make a connection with how you've been hurt and disappointed in the past, and how that trauma is making you feel that you're always going to get that. You're always going to be disappointed. The thing about trauma, and Candace is bringing up a good point. She's saying, I can tell you personally that trauma does not magically leave. You have to work on it like a bad cold. It's not hopeless. You can do it. And I don't know if you know Candace from our previous broadcasts, Rasmus, but Candace had gone through some pretty severe sexual abuse that took her a while to work through. So what I see in you is that you're here, you're on this live stream, you're boldly putting this out. You and I have chatted. There's something in you that wants to heal. But the problem is, like with trauma, like with this group of friends or that person who said, do you miss this? Like, who the hell, that left you feeling like, if after 4 years you don't understand me, then nobody's going to understand me. And it's the belief system that we then assume, we take it on as a belief system, and then we feel it's always going to be like that into the future. Now, I'm not minimizing what you're going through. What I'm trying to do is just try to give you little slivers of hope that you don't know the future. You don't know that somebody will connect with you. Maybe you'll make a friend and you'll have worked on some of this trauma. So if they do say something like that, your first inclination isn't to just be like, well, you don't get me, so I'm out of this friendship. Maybe that will be how you feel, but maybe you'll say, hey, dude, I didn't appreciate that. What do you mean, did I miss it? I mean, so what I'm offering to you is in no way, shape, or form minimizing what you've been through. But what I'm just trying, as you can see in some of my texts, and I apologize, sometimes it takes me, you and I are on completely different time zones, but what I'm trying to put into you is the idea that it's your trauma that's affecting your view of the future. Now, granted, you have issues, like you've told me in many texts, that you can't control. You can't control the immigration piece. You can't control other things. But what I'm trying to give you are things you can control. Because as we talked about, and when you saw my son come into the picture and I could see your face light up, there is a part of you that isn't hopeless, bro. There is a part of you.
Let me tell you about something. The feeling is one important piece of information that maybe give a lot of insight, is that how much powerless I feel about changing my situation is a problem, is a big problem, the big problem. And the one thing that happened was that what happened was that one time I thought, okay, how can I end this inaction? So I thought maybe I go to inpatient place in the hospital, and then I go there, and maybe after I don't believe medications is gonna like I don't believe that much into in medication, and I definitely don't believe that I'm gonna take a pill and it's gonna
magically,
magically dissolve all the trauma.
I feel you, brother.
That's a lie. But
I feel you, and I'm not pushing that.
But
I'm not pushing that. I'm saying.
But what happened was that so I said, but maybe I can feel more energetic, because it's hard. It's hard. For example, I have to motivate myself for half an hour to go to and take a shower. Such a small elementary thing.
That's the depression, bro.
It feels
that's
like
the depression, man.
Mountain to climb. But then what happened was, one time they said they are gonna put me in forced that they are not gonna ask for my permission or agreement anymore, so for treatment, because I was so suicidal. They thought that I can't decide for myself, etc. And I got so angry because now I came to in patient hospital and trying to help myself. Now here they are trying to also get my freedom of choice, etc. out of me. So from me. So I got so angry, and I showed it this time. I said to the psychiatrist, if you do something like that, I'm not going to cooperate with you, and I won't I won't be a tolerant person at all. Like, I'm friendly right now, but if you do that,
there's no reason you should have your freedom and integrity threatened because somebody thinks they know how to help you.
But so I was feeling really low. I was feeling really low, and I got so angry. And then there is a reason that I am saying this, and it comes after this. She said, "You are so angry. We are gonna talk tomorrow morning." And tomorrow morning, when she came, she said that I felt at that moment when she said that, I felt totally out of control. I said I can't do anything to change the situation. And the next morning, I was sitting lying at the bed. It was almost 10 a.m. and I was lying there, and I was feeling miserable, suicidal, everything. And then she came to my room and said, "Let's go and talk." And we went and talked, and she said, "You can do whatever you want. You can, if you want right now to go home, I will let you go home. If you want to stay, anything you want. And you can't believe it. The thing that happened was that after that angry and fighting for myself, standing up for myself, and seeing that it matters, I could change something. For 10 days, it was like,
you felt like a new person, probably.
What is depression? That for 10 days I was feeling, wow, out of this world. I'm like, for the first time in ever that I can remember, I felt like not depressed for 10 days.
That's the real you, brother.
For 10 days, I was so cheerful, so happy. Everybody saying,
that's the real you. Because what did that situation show you?
That I have power to change my situation.
And it's not the situation that made you feel that way, bro. That situation helped you access what's already inside of you.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to work with you on, is showing you that the situation itself didn't magically make you feel that way. The situation uncovered what is already in you.
Yeah. Yeah, I do believe that. I do believe that inside, if I am not feeling powerless, etc., then I can be my normal, my normal. I don't like that word. What should I
Yeah, I
say?
hear you.
Instead
Somebody
of
said normal is a setting on
unconditioned,
a washing machine. Yeah.
unconditioned, without conditioning. They uncover myself, and I
The real
feel,
you.
I know that's my real me, without any cover, like cover of trauma, anything, or trying to like hide or give as little information as possible. If I'm real me and open, I feel that I am a very cheerful and energetic person, and I would be like that how I was in those 10 days. But
But
then
it's
I
going to go
came
like this
home.
for now, brother. It's going to go like this.
But then I went home.
Mm-hmm.
I came home, and then I started thinking again about
Well, the
citizenship.
conditioning, the trauma, the trauma came in.
Yes, the
Mm-hmm.
citizenship problems, etc., that I can solve, and
And then the whole, you
then
started going
then
down, and
again feeling
you didn't have
powerless, and
tools.
10 days back to a square
I
one.
feel you, brother. But you see, what working with somebody, and I'm not saying to work with me, I'm just saying working with a mental health person, it gives you tools when you're on the downslope. You get tools to manage how steep you go down, and you get tools to pull yourself back up. So listen, Rasmus, we have to break off here, but don't hang up. I'm going to come back to you after I log off. Okay. But I just want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for sharing your story. I want to thank you for being open with what you're struggling with, showing that, talking about that in a way that you would talk about anything else. That takes a lot of courage, because what you're doing is you're going to be helping someone else realize I'm not alone. I'm not alone with this. I'm not the only person that feels like killing themselves. I'm not the only person who feels hopeless. But what I want you to think about, my brother, is that you just don't have the tools yet to manage this part of the wave. Don't think I don't have my dips. Don't think I am just Mr. Happy Positive. Couldn't be further from the truth. Let me get my wife downstairs and she'll tell you about it. But what I do have are tools to manage when I'm getting into that. So I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody who made comments. I want to thank the people who continue to support these live streams, you included. And I'm going to log off here, but I'm going to come back to you. So just stay there. I'm just going to do a close and then I'll come back. Okay. So thank you, Rasmus. Anything in closing you'd like to say to everybody, or anything you'd like to?
No.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you for the stream and inviting me, and I hope that me trying to share and being as authentic as I can has helped someone. I think I'm not the only one. Maybe the extreme circumstances regarding the life being in danger, maybe that's not something a lot of people can like identify with, but I'm sure there are other traumas, like someone being in a abusive relationship and could not being able to get out. It could be a similar situation in a way. Yeah,
but the hopelessness, a lot of people can relate to that feeling of, what's the point of living if I'm going to feel like this the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. Don't log off. Okay, don't log off. I'm just going to close out here. So thank you for coming, and I'll talk to you in a second. Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, that's Rasmus's story. That's somebody who, is real, who is struggling with depression, with suicidal thoughts, giving everyone an idea of what's that like. This is exactly why I'm doing these live streams, because we need to normalize these types of conversations. We need to be in a society where we're able to talk more about these dark feelings we have, because what causes people to get further and further down is keeping it inside, isolating, hating themselves or hating their situation. That circle keeps deepening and deepening and deepening. And the next thing they know, they're like, well, what's the point of living? And a lot of this can be healed. A lot of this can be worked on. Like Rasmus talked about, he had 10 days of feeling better about himself simply because he got some autonomy back. He got some power back. He got the ability to feel like he has some control. Okay. So thank you again, everyone who joined us live tonight. If you're catching this after I post it and you're having suicidal thoughts, you're having hopeless thoughts, please don't give in to this idea that you know the future, meaning that you know you'll never feel better. Please get some help. Access mental health professionals. Access people that have skill sets to help you. Talk things out of you. Work on your trauma. But please, people, don't give up. At least try to work on the emotional wounds that are causing you to want to kill yourself. Okay? So just to read a couple comments as we close out, Diego's saying if he's taken it this far, he's strong enough to get past. I'm being optimistic. I'm seeing him with myself. Fernando saying, I'm glad I heard you. Thanks for sharing, Rasmus. You can handle the situation. I believe in you. Don't give up. Candace is saying, thank you very much for coming on. I hope I got Samantha saying it's hard work, Rasmus. Depression is a bear. So again, everybody, thank you for logging on again. My name's Dr. Stephen Walker. You can find me out online. You can check out my website. But if you're catching this on YouTube or Facebook, or if you guys tonight are watching this, or if you're watching this, please like and share the video. Put the notifications on to know when we go live. You were about to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. The minute we get there, they start showing videos more people can get help. Okay, so please like and share. Do everything you can. You never know who you're going to help by liking or sharing a video of this kind, because it can really help people who feel that they're all alone in the world. Okay, so thank you again. I'm going to be tweaking my schedule again next week. I'm thinking I'm going to drop down to maybe just 2 nights a week, because there's so much going on now with COVID, and so many people are in need of help that I don't want to spread myself too thin, but I'll let you know. I'll post something on the Facebook page. So again, thank you for coming on, everybody. Please, everyone, have a good new year. Please work on your issues, people. Please. This crap that we identify with in our minds for years and years convinces us that there's no hope. There's absolutely hope, but you got to work on it. You got to make it okay that you're in pain and work on it. So everyone have a good night. Thank you for all your comments. I'll catch you next week. Please post any comments if you're catching this after I post it. I try to respond to all of them. Okay.